good evening, council, public. Buenas noches, buenas tardes, buenas noches a todos los que nos miran en la casa y aquí también en vivo. Well, I just want to say that today the county approved the budget, $674 million, and we're moving projects forward, trying to get a lot of the streets that citizens are concerned about around the county, and of course I'm trying to get some streets fixed here in and around Livingston, especially Olive Road on the north part of town, down on the south side as well, but also in my district we're going to be doing Buchanan Hollow Road in south of Planada and McNamara Road in El Nido. And so I just want to make sure that I'm addressing all the concerns. But if you have potholes right now, let me know. We'll make sure we fill them up. There's not enough funds to fix all the roads in the county. We're doing our best, but there's only so much SB1 and Measure V funds. So stay tuned. So a few days ago, I attended the September 13 and 14, the NALEO, National Policy Institute on Emergency Response and Management. It was a great 2 day. It wasn't a vacation. It was more education. It was very intensive. NALEO is the National Association of Latino Elected Officials, and it was a scholarship that was awarded. They pay for everything. The county and Livingston, of course, didn't have to pay for it either. I'm looking for my comments here. There we go. And I'm going to say what I said in my comments this morning at our board meeting. So the disaster management response and management, emergency response and management. Some of the questions were, who is in charge of what? Understanding local, state, and federal rules during emergencies. Those are some of the sessions that I attended. Identifying hazards and multi-jurisdictional mitigation plan. We want to make sure that the city, all the first responders are working together cohesively with the school districts, which I know that there's, sometimes I heard about a post on Facebook that we had here in the city, and I know that our police department worked hard to address that, that concern, and it was taken care of. Communications and mass evacuation during a disaster. Housing and education for displaced residents. Municipal and county tract emergency planning for the elderly and other vulnerable populations. We got to make sure that we address all the vulnerable after a disaster, before and after, make sure that they're taken care of, as well as pets. Everybody takes off, and the pets, and then, of course, we got issues there. Creating safer school campuses like Livingston High School. I know my daughter's going to Livingston High School, and the kids are not happy that they were, seeing all that fence going around, and when we all been there, and well, I know that there wasn't that many issues back then, but I know with all the shootings around the county, we want to make sure we addressed all those the safety. Best practices for pre and post emergency management, supporting recovery and strengthening resilience for schools and students. Best practices and lessons learned from El Paso, Texas. So we had a state legislator in one of the sessions, and so he was very emotional with the disaster in El Paso, and he said he had dealing with people and all the government and the responses and the victims, and he said he has a brother that is a police officer there in El Paso, and the brother, of course, assisted right away going to the Walmart where all the shootings were happening, right? So he learned firsthand of all the issues. And also, he has a sister that was a nurse and attended to the victims of the shooting. So it was very, like I said, he almost cried right there in front of us. So he told us a little bit more, but I don't want to go into that. Supporting recovery and strengthening resilience. I think I already said that one. And also, we also addressed the homeless and, of course, the census 2020. So I know that also one of the questions was, we also had a concerned couple that they adopted 2 kids, and they already adopted three kids, but they're all brothers. So 2 of them were taken back by the father. The court actually gave them back to the father. So he went and to Mexico, and he dropped them off over there, came back. But the kids are U.S. citizens. So I was trying to comment to the parents there, and I wasn't allowed by our chairman to give a comment during our comment period, and that made me upset because here with like the mayor and all the council, when I was here as mayor, we always allowed the public comment to ask us questions so we can respond directly as we are here. But over there I was not allowed. So I asked the county council if I was to give me your opinion. It's like, but he addressed to the chair that was not able to. So that was in my sense an appropriate response. So, but like, of course, and I stated later at the end of my comments that I would be seeking the advice of the state attorney general, because in my mind it wasn't fair that and it wasn't any disrespect to the chair. It was just a response because this couple that adopted the kids, and eventually the judge gave them back to the dad. They came from Sacramento, Roseville actually, and they drove down here, and then I didn't know if they were going to leave, so I wanted to make sure that they responded when I'm up there sitting down. So I just don't want to drag it along, but questions like that's why I'm there as an elected, to make sure that I address concerns from the public anywhere. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be my constituent. It can be from anywhere out of town. And just because you're there sitting as a council member or mayor, you're allowed to question something. If you don't like it, hey, you don't have to make it a big issue, but of course you have other other officials that you're able to seek information from. So that's why it's not political. It can be political, but I'm just a little bit of knowledge of what sometimes you have to do, to get your point across or to help citizens. So, and so that conference that I go to, I want to make sure that I address it with the Office of Emergency Services in the county, that we're working together with all those cities and the counties. Like I said, this city work well with the local schools, but I want to make sure that our own county services are addressing it with all the schools in the county, the schools and the cities, because it's I've been there 3 years on the board of supervisors, and even though we get a binder from our chief or CAL FIRE, there has been no communication about if I don't know if the numbers are there, who to call, which I have them anyway, but I want to make sure that we're addressing. Are you working together with we're being trained as council or board of supervisors that here are the numbers, who to call, because in case you get a call from the constituents, if somebody gets, this is in case of there's floods, there's fires, there's shootings, or any other disaster in our community. So anything can happen now these days. There's so many issues out there. So I want to make sure that the public is being taken care of and then things are safe. So I just want to pass it on later on as much as I know. I'm going to copy, scan, and send it all to the constituents and anybody else that will like it from the public as well. So, and of course, this for education purposes, this is for our 700 forms reporting under the 700 FPPC requirements. It's not considered, the gift is not considered reportable under the FPPC forms because it's an education for us. So any education, you don't have to report it under your 700 forms, the yearly forms that we have to, all the gifts. And I think that's all I have. If in case anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Council, any questions for Supervisor Espinoza? No. Public, any questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead, please.
The last time that you reported out to the council, you had mentioned that, and forgive me, short memory, my notes are not here, but you did report that there was an award of $5 million for the veterans, to go towards veterans for Las Banas, Antwater.
Veterans Halls.
Sorry?
Veterans Halls. There was probably not an award. There's a fund that I don't know if that's the question you're asking. There was the county was putting up $15 million, and it would be used to fix the air conditioners and other facility issues in the buildings across the county, but Livingston was left out. And under this budget, now they're going to be reevaluating Livingston and I think Gustine to put it back in there and make sure that we're in there. And also too, that thank you for reminding me, so that hopefully we'll get some of the money to fix this one here. So no, it's much needed. But also the libraries was an issue too because, again, Livingston was going to be left out for the libraries to remodel some of the Livingston library. So it was Merced, Atwater, Gustine, and Los Banos. And I said, where's Livingston again? You left me out on the Veterans Halls, which I addressed, and now you're leaving me again as, and for the libraries. And we have been getting citizens complaining about more additional hours, and we're going to be looking into adding more additional hours all the way to 8 o'clock here, because you always got kids that want to go to the library. And so I said, I'm not going to support this unless Livingston is added on there. So we're going to be analyzing. So it was added, and it was seconded by Supervisor McDaniel, and it was 5-0 in the end. So Livingston was added on this as well. So like I said, I'm addressing all the needs that our Veterans Hall has, and also as well as the library. So okay,
Appreciate that.
anything that comes up. So thank you very much. No
Thank you,
question?
Supervisor.
Thank you.
Thank you.